is Eli?
Yo, YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Eli So Fly. We back with another video, and today we are reacting to Gen Z is Getting Old by Tokimon. I think that's how you say that, Tokimon. Leave a like, subscribe, tap into the description, bro. You got a link to everything I do down there. Come join us live on Twat. Twat? What is Twat? Come join us live and become part of the chat. And let's get into let's just get into the video, man. Let's just get into the video, man.
Gen Z consists of people who are born between the years 1995 and 2012. Me personally, I was born in 2004, which I guess would be the second half of Gen Z, and I'm 20 years old already.
Wait. Let me see that. Let me see that, because is this breaking up Gen Z? Because I feel like we definitely need to do that, because I feel like the people younger than me that's considered part of Gen Z, like, we gotta separate ourselves from them, because they kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they kind of, so I don't want to be associated with them, for real. Like, I don't want to be associated with that. So let's see what Generation Alpha is. 2013 to mid 20. Okay. Zoomers / Generation Z, 1997 to 2012. Okay. Silent Generation. What the frick is the silent generation? Greatest generation? What is the GI generation? Lost generation? Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Who coined these terms? Because I'm not gonna lie. Silent generation sound tough. Imagine being able to say, I'm part of the silent generation. That sound like a clan, nigga. That sound like a Naruto clan. I'm from the silent generation. We don't play, nigga. That's hard.
Which I guess would be the second half of Gen Z, and I'm 20 years old already. I'm not sure it takes somebody with a PhD in human sciences to figure out that if you're Gen Z, bro, it's time to admit the hard truth. We are unk status. I could care less if you're 15 years old or if you're 30. We as Gen Z are in this together. So
who
if
is
I'm
we?
bad about being old, then you should too. You know what type of mentality that is that I have? The unk mentality. Maybe it's just because I'm salty of the things that I would say when I was younger. I remember back when I was in elementary school, I would constantly say, I wish I was older. But you know, now that I'm
Who
out
is
of
we?
school,
I don't speak French. Exactly, monkeypox.
Bro,
I'm not gonna lie, chat, though. I did wish to get older when I was a kid, bro. But that was just because, like, I wanted to do adult things. I didn't want to be an adult, really. I just wanted to do adult things. I wanted to drive. I wanted to go out on, like, I wanted to go out and go to the club and jump. Like, you know what I'm saying? As a kid, that don't look cool. Now that I'm an adult, that don't look lame. But as a kid, I was like, hey, bro, I'm trying to go to the club. I'm trying to drive. I'm trying to eat whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to do adult things. I ain't want to be an adult for real, bro. Like, dang, bro.
And with hair on my ball, I'm slowly starting to realize that's possibly one of the dumbest things I've ever said. I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't really have much to worry about. All I would need to do was go to school, come home, and play games and watch cartoons. But now that I'm older, I gotta worry about tax, health insurance, paying bills, the government coming to my house to look for my outstanding warrant. What the heck? Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you had nothing to worry about when you were a kid.
Yep,
and now that
nothing
I'm
at all.
back to all the things that I used to complain about when I was younger, bro, I was just complaining about a whole lot of nothing. Aw, why are you crying? You don't want to go to school? Well, don't worry, because in 10 years, you gotta pay $8,000 worth of taxes to the IRS. When I was younger, I thought being a grown-up was the best possible thing on planet Earth. I thought you didn't have to worry about anything else.
Facts.
No more being told what to do. You had the freedom to do whatever you wanted. So imagine my disappointment when I reach adulthood and I find out that it's illegal to drink 6 beers and then go for a joyride. In fact, there's a lot of things that I wish I knew about adulthood when I was younger. I don't know, you'd think that the school system would at least try to teach you what being an adult is like, considering you're going there to learn. But no, instead of leaving school knowing actual things that will help me in my day-to-day life for the next 60 years, I instead left knowing how many apples Susie has after giving some to Mike. Officer, I'm not allowed to speed in a school zone? Allow me to tell you about the Pythagorean theorem. I don't know how to change a tire whatsoever, but hey, you know, I'm pretty good at Geometry Dash. The older up in age I start to get, the more I'm kind of starting to realize that 90% of adults have absolutely no idea what they're doing. Like, if you meet somebody who is freshly 18, right? And they're talking about all these different adult things, essentially just acting older than they are. I want you guys to know there's a big chance that it's a load of hooey. When I sit down and think back to when I was 18 years old, the first thing that comes to mind is how much I've changed. I mean, I feel like a completely different person. For example, I created this YouTube channel literally 3 days after my 18th birthday, and I was fresh out of high school. And the type of content that I was making was very 18-year-old coded, let's say.
Okay, now I just want to say I am not the biggest or partaker in the big ol' marriage.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
That was terrible. And now that I'm 20 years old, I'm being way more productive. I'm watching all of Skibbity Toilet for 5 hours. Isn't that great? I mean, for the first like 6-7 years of your adulthood, you're not even really a functioning member of society yet. You're still figuring out how to do all these new things. I mean, think of it. You got stuff like moving out for the first time. Bro,
I wouldn't even say I'm a functioning member now. Like, what? Like, I'm 24, about to be 25, and I still don't feel like a functioning member of society, bro. Like, I honestly, I don't know if I ever will feel like it. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like because here's the thing, you get older, but like, in a way you change, but you don't change. You just get older over time. So while you get older, you still feel young. And then somebody asks you how old are you, and you're like, damn, I'm kind of old. Like, bro, at work, they'll continuously ask me how old I am, right? Because I'm new. So like, they asking me, yo, how old are you? You know, and then plus I look young. So they ask me, I'm like, oh, I'm 24. And they'll be like, oh, you young. But in my head, I'm like, nigga, I'm what? 24 is not like, I'm like, 24 ain't no like, just no BS age for real. 24 is kind of like what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing? I don't be knowing.
Getting your first car. Man, even finding a job. Now, I know this next statement is definitely gonna sound like I'm making a big excuse for a lot of Gen Z, which it is, but the majority of us were locked inside for like 3 years. Now, no matter where you are,
and that was a great time. Quarantine was great. I'm one of those that feel like quarantine was a great thing. It needs to happen again. I'm one of those, bro. Quarantine was such a great time.
7 years old or 10 years old, you got to admit that this must have some type of detriment, right? For a couple years, we were literally not allowed to go outside. It's still crazy to wrap my head around.
Bro, we really was only in quarantine for like a year, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, everybody that be blowing quarantine out of proportion, talking about something, we was in quarantine for like 3 years. We was in quarantine for 1 year, nigga. Y'all blowing it out of proportion. At least I was only in quarantine for like 1 year. A whole year just staying at the crib, focusing on YouTube, playing games, and eating snacks. That's all it was for me.
2 or 3 years ago. This was 5 years ago. It's crazy to think that we're closer to 2030 than we are to the very first case of said illness that caused the lockdown. And it's because of that a lot of us didn't have the same experiences that our parents or even some of your older siblings may have. For example, a lot of Gen Z weren't able to have jobs when they were teenagers. And that's because they were locked inside their house. You were literally not allowed to work at a store. Now, thankfully, I was lucky enough to be able to get my first job when I was 16, almost immediately after lockdown. I worked at a Marshall's for about a year and a half as a cashier, and I met a crazy amount of people who were like 20, 22 years old, and that was their first job. Of course, though, when working that job, you also had to deal with your fair amount of old people. And I'm gonna be the one with big enough balls to say it because apparently nobody has said it enough. Why are old people such dicks to Gen Z? Like, when I was working at this cashier job, the amount of old people that I would encounter character that would just belittle us was ridiculous. Old people are old people. They don't like any generation below them, or really anything for that matter. They hate millennials, they hate Gen X, but for some reason, they seem to really hate Gen Z. You have old people left and right telling Gen Z that we just simply don't work hard enough and that we'll have trouble being successful. Meanwhile, they were somehow able to afford an entire 5-bedroom house at the age of 21 by simply running a lemonade stand. And yes, I am gonna play the victim. Look at the price of a McDonald's burger from 1970 versus 2025.
48 cents?
Birdie to pay for my Chick-fil-A, and you think that I'm able to afford a house on my own?
I'm not gonna lie though, a mobile home seems like a viable option. A mobile home really do seem like a viable option. Don't sleep on a mobile home. Cause while it might not look it might not look pleasing on the outside, but hey, a mobile home, low key, that these mobile homes built kind of different nowadays, bro. Y'all like don't sleep on the mobile homes now. You'll on the outside, you'll look at a mobile home, be like, yo, what is this? And then you go in the inside, you got like 5 bedrooms. You like, how? That shouldn't even be scientifically possible. How you fit 5 bedrooms in a mobile home? But somehow they did it, and them Jones be nice. They be nice for like half the cost of an actual house. I'm telling you, invest. Hey, look into the mobile homes, chat. Look into them, Jones.
Old people are simply just jealous of the things that we had. I mean, think of it. Gen Z growing up had all different types of technology. We had iPads, PlayStations. Now, what did old people have to entertain themselves with?
Sega Genesis,
3 sticks and
Huckleberry
Finn? Bro, I ain't gonna lie. If I had to read this boring I'd be pissed off too. What's still crazy to me is that Gen Z had access to all of this different type of technology. It was so easily accessible, we were essentially just guinea pigs. I mean, I think back to my first ever electronic gaming system, and that was the DS. I remember I used to play Mario.
Bro, the DS
and
was
Nintendogs
so goated
on my DS all the time.
The DS
Sometimes
was
it
so
brings a tear to
goated,
my
bro.
eye when I think about where my Nintendogs are today. I used to stay up past my bedtime and take care of my Nintendogs, and when my parents would walk in my room, I would put my DS under my pillow. Now, I like to think that this is a universally shared Gen Z experience. Until I was on TikTok a couple days ago, and someone made a video talking about this, and all the comments are Gen Alpha asking,
what is a DS?
Bro, I sat
Does
there
it
looking
have
at my phone
Roblox?
screen like,
Yeah, we're cooked.
I don't seem to be in the best mood, and that's because I'm not.
My
I wish I
kids
truly
will
would
know
have
what a
taken my
DS
younger
is,
body
chat.
for granted. And keep in mind, I'm only 20 years old, which in the grand scheme of things in my life really isn't anything at all. So then tell me, why the hell am I only 20 years old and I'm already starting to get back pain? Allow me to get a little bit vulnerable with you guys. Literally just yesterday, I was taking a shower and I dropped the soap.
Okay.
Whoa. Not that type of vulnerable. Chill out. And as I'm bending to pick up the soap, you know, I'm arching my back in a weird way. I feel a sudden pain in my back, which then causes me to slip and fall down inside of my shower. Now, this seems like something that would usually happen to somebody who's 70 years old, right?
Hey, bro,
like
it happens to the best of us.
You do
Sometimes
hear
more than
stories
once.
all the time of old people falling down in the shower. But 20 years old? Are we serious? I'm not going to be 70 years old for another 50 years. I really wish that I could say this was a singular isolated incident, but it's not. In the past 2 years, I've fallen down in the shower probably 3 times. Now, I don't possibly know what
Only
could be
3?
causing my back
Yeah,
pain.
that's
Maybe
nothing.
it's because I hung.
That's like 3. That's nothing. Try like 5 in 1 year, nigga. 3 times in 2 years ain't nothing. 5 in 1 year, you know what I'm saying? It only goes downhill. It only goes downhill, bro. But hey, man, that's been my reaction to Gen Z is getting old, man. Let me know what you feel. Are you a part of Gen Z, and if you is, like, let me know how you coping with getting old. And I'ma holler at y'all in the next video, man. Sheesh.